In light of AMD's release of their RX 480, of which you'll hear much more about in the coming days, folks, stay tuned for that, I've decided to throw it back for a change and pit head-to-head the GTX 970 from the green team and the R9 390 from the red team. Both cards are very similarly priced, and as you'll see here in a second, very similarly wow, that collapsed on itself. Very similar competitors. That is what I meant to say. But very quickly, let's run through the test bench I have behind me. I can't use my hands because Misty has them tied up. An i7 6700K overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz and 16 gigabytes in two 8 gigabyte variants of Giel Superloose DDR4 clocked to 3000 megahertz. All the games, by the way, are stored on a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Black drive. I would also like to thank Mark Borgen for hooking us up with his Total War Warhammer game code from Steam. He was very generous with us here in the studio and decided to hook us up because he thought that it would make for a great benchmark, and he was right. Total War Warhammer is a very CPU intensive game, so it'll be interesting to see how those cards fare with this game and with all the others we have in the stack today. So without further ado, here are the graphs. So it was a toss-up, folks. I can't honestly tell you which card's better. It just depends completely on the game. If you want to base it just off of the Heaven benchmark, which stresses only the GPU, the CPU's not involved at all, then it would go to the GTX 970. But when it comes to games, it was split 50-50. The GTX 970 did better in 4 of the 8 games, and the R9 390 did better in the other 4 of the 8. So I really don't know what else to tell you there. It just comes down to optimization. And I've noticed that the R9 390 is actually doing better in games that it's typically bundled with. So Hitman was included with the R9 390 at some point, and so was Total War Warhammer. So both of those games, the R9 390 won. Interesting, AMD's pairing their cards with games that it knows that it will outperform the GTX 970 in. That's actually pretty smart on their part. But with that, I want to leave the rest of this video to you and your comments in the comment sections below. I'm sure that a lot of you have had either the GTX 970 or the R9 390 at some point in your PC gaming careers, so I want you to give your final thoughts on either or both of these cards in the comment sections below. Remember, I read every single comment. Yes, even in the videos that have thousands and thousands of comments, I read them all daily. I wake up in the morning, I pick up my phone, and I have an email list with every comment. Sometimes I'll just go into the dashboard on YouTube and read them all that way. But I do read them all, even though I don't reply to all of them. That would just be an insane amount of writing on my part. But I do appreciate all of your input. Be sure to do all of that. Let me know what you think about both cards, the results you just saw, and stay tuned for this guy right here. Not too much longer, folks. You're going to be impressed. This is Science Studio. Thanks for learning with us.